ACCUSTATS Video Productions presents from the Executive West Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky, the third annual Derby City Classic. My special guest for this quarterfinal match is Danny Diliberto, and I'm Bill Incardona. Danny, there are 5 players remaining in the tournament. One player caught a bye, Troy Frank, as he did a couple times the first year we had this tournament, and then he went on to win this event. But the 2 players we're going to be playing in the feature match, Mika Immonen from Helsinki, Finland, a very, very strong player, and he certainly has made his presence felt on the tour.
Well, let me tell you something about this match. The last time Archer played on this table, he won a squeaker and didn't play real well. The last time Mika played on this tournament, he was a killer. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, Johnny had just played a match with Shannon Dalton, and he didn't even get on the scoreboard, losing it 7-0. I don't know if it was all Shannon Dalton or if it was because of Johnny's inability to perform. I didn't watch that match, but Johnny certainly has his hands full here with Mika Immonen from Helsinki.
Well, anyway, while they're trying to figure out who won the lag, he's coming with the ruler. That's how close this one is. While they're doing this, first I'd like to say Mika lives in New York City now. Yeah, he lives in New York City.
Yeah, well, the benefit of living in the New York City area is there's a lot of tournaments around there, and there's just a lot of quality players that come from that particular area. So therefore, as far as action is concerned, and as far as him staying active, he don't have a problem. And if you notice, in case you haven't noticed, that there aren't very many tournaments anymore, with the Pro Tour being more or less stagnant right now. Not very many tournaments, but if you live in the New York area, you know, there's plenty of tournaments available, and he's been staying in stroke playing in those tournaments, so therefore he's probably the sharper of the 2 coming into this tournament. And quite frankly, I feel that he's playing a little bit better than Johnny from what I've seen so far in this tournament. But of course, Johnny is, I think, 3-time world champion. He has the credentials. He's probably the player to beat.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I wanted to ask about the break. You know that this table has been giving up the 9 on the break in that right-hand corner, you know, and it sort of went in that direction. And during the practice, Mika, the last game he broke, made the 9 on the break. It flew right in, and I said, oh, look at this. Why is that happening? And you said because he doesn't know how to rack them.
Yeah, every once in a while, the characteristic of a table, the way it will break is the 9 will go toward one pocket consistently. And when that happens, there's a problem with the rack. And it's usually the ball underneath the 9 is slightly off the 9, allowing the 9 to escape in that direction with consistency. Sometimes you really can't even see it with the naked eye, but invariably it's there. So therefore, whenever the 9 goes toward one pocket all the time, usually the ball behind the 9 on that side of the table is just a little bit off the 9. So to remedy that, you rack up the balls tightly, you take off the rack, you take all the balls off the table except the 9 and the ball underneath the 9 in the direction that it's going, and you move that ball, not the 9, that ball maybe a 1/16 of an inch toward the 9, and you just tap it into the cloth, and that way that ball will now freeze to the 9 all the time. It'll have a settling point, and it'll freeze to the 9, and you'll remedy that problem.
Did you get that, Genki?
Yeah.
Okay. Because for years they've been talking about guys who know how to rack them, and you got to be careful and all that. And there's little tricks to change the action of the center ball, the 9 ball. But here's one thing. I know that, and you love math, Billy, you're a big favorite if you bet on this particular table that the 9 is going to be made in the end in that pocket. Wouldn't you say you're a big favorite?
Absolutely. Notice the position of the 9 as we speak. Very closely positioned to the lower left-hand corner pocket, and I look for that 9 to be positioned close to that corner pocket after just about every break because it seems to be going in that direction all the time. I wouldn't be surprised to see the 9 pocketed once or maybe even twice in this match.
Well, Archer had pretty good speed control. He's not going to snooker him, but he certainly didn't leave anything.
And he also he hasn't left anything in terms of playing a safe here. He's going to be really hard pressed to walk away from the table in good shape.
Ordinarily, you could play what I call snooker shape, and that's from the game of snooker, not necessarily meaning the term to put a guy behind the ball and hook him. I'm talking about a shot that's common. You hit the one there and bank it down here. You can't do that in this case because it leaves a possibility for the billiard on the 9.
He'll probably kick behind the 1 here. At least that way, he has a chance of positioning the cue ball near that bottom cushion, leaving a lot of distance in between the 1 and the cue ball. That time he pocketed the 1 in the side. That's a plus with that shot.
Oh, definitely. It was almost like it goes or he snookered. But now he has to make the 3, and he's on to the 4. The balls that are a little bit tricky are the 5 and 6.
If you notice, the 8 blocks the pocket for the 6.
He missed that one. Oh, man, never a doubt.
If you notice, this 8 blocks the pocket for the 6 at the other end. So therefore, when he repositions the cue ball for position on the 5, he cannot position the cue ball on the 5 to play position for the 6 at the other corner. He's going to have to do it somewhat differently, maybe even going into the 6 with the cue ball off the 5 will probably alleviate that problem somewhat. He'll probably end up with a shot on the 6 in some other pocket.
Yeah, he's going to have to come from behind it and hit it. He can't just roll it and play position. He's going to hit it, and he figures to have the 6 either cross side or the corner, and then again, there's a little gamble to this. Will you get a good angle on the 6 to get to the 7 when you do that? But you probably agree that he's going to hit the 6.
Well, he doesn't have any other choice. He's already committed himself to play position for that type of a shot, which he's done. And he does have a nice shot on the 6 in the upper left-hand corner. I look for him to draw the cue ball back, hitting the long rail, or he could possibly follow it if he likes that shot better.
That might be the shot, because it's possible to scratch in that side pocket. There's a little angle. He laid down a pretty good stroke there.
Yeah, you really can't argue with that shot at all. I mean, he certainly repositioned the cue ball very nicely for the 8. Now, when you consider the position of both the 8 and the 9, there's a lot of things he can do to gain shape on the 8, the 9 off of the 8.
Well, you got pretty thin on it. Do you go 3 rails around counterclockwise, or do you go 2 rails with the Z stroke?
Well, you don't put a Z stroke on it. I think you go 2 rails, and you don't try to get on the other side of the side. If you do that, you may scratch. I like going 2 cushions short of the side and then to the center of the table.
That's the reason.
That's why I wouldn't have gone that way. That side pocket is too big.
You know what we're talking about here? We're talking about good players. There would have been nothing wrong with hitting the side here and taking this kind of cut on the 9, but he wanted to get over here, and that was, made it a little tough.
But with his ability to pocket balls, he was able to put down the 9. But nevertheless, he shouldn't have been in the position that he ended up in on the 9, because he's a good enough shot maker to pocket the 9 that, even if the shot carried a little bit of distance, the only thing he couldn't overcome was scratching in the side or hitting the point and knocking himself totally out of line to pocket the 9. It almost happened. But game number 1 does go to Immonen, and he leads in the match. A relatively short race to 7, 1-0. It's really important to get out of the gate quickly with a short race to 7.
I have to say something about that last inning where he hit the point. I, for one, in the past have had a problem with that kind of thing, because if I miss position, I get upset at myself, and I figured to miss that 9 ball. I mean, that's like a mental thing where you can get out of line and say, heck with it, this what there is, and hit it loosely. I have a little temperament problem with that, and probably other people do. Hit him solid, but so far he didn't make anything. And the 9 was going right towards the pocket, The 7 got in the way.
The balls are spread quite nicely over the table. It looks like the 1 to the 2 maybe might create a little bit of a problem if he can get across the table far enough. He can shoot the 2 in the side, but that's not going to be easy either. So therefore, from the 1 to the 2, maybe a little bit of a problem. Let's see how he handles this.
Yeah, he figures to have an angle on the 2 that he's going to go the wrong direction off the 2 to the 3 and having obstructions.
If you notice, the position that he has on the 2 really isn't ideal by any means. He has a very awkward angle. He'll have to cut the 2 ball very thinly, and in doing that, he may have a problem controlling the cue ball.
He looks like he's going to try to draw it one way. Maybe he's hitting it thicker than we thought, and that's the case, because I thought if he went that way, he would hit the 6, but obviously he could hit it full enough to do that.
Sometimes from our vantage point, angles seem a lot different than they do to the player at the table. And obviously that was one of those times. I thought he was laying really thin on the 2.
Well,
this has the speed to scratch, you know.
Yeah, he went hard. He's scratching.
Now, if the 6 passes the 7 into the lower left-hand corner, I look for Immonen to win this game as well, because the 5's positioned in front of the right-hand side, 6 in front of the 7, 7 near the pocket, 8 near the left-hand side. No problems out there. I don't really foresee anything happening to him unless he miscues or something like that.
Right, I'm
But
sure the
anyway,
6 goes by the 7. I'm sure. And really, that's a mental mistake on Johnny Archer's fault. You know, there's people who might think he got unlucky. He didn't get unlucky because he went straight in the pocket. And if you're going that path, you got to shoot softer, you know, so it doesn't reach the pocket. But like you say, there's no problems here. He got a little funny. He might have to go into the rail and bounce out.
But he has to make sure that if he does use that side cushion,
he didn't have to,
which he didn't. But if he did have to use it, he had to make sure that he hit it hard enough to get across table, clearing the 9, so he would have a shot on the 7. But that's actually a moot point now. It doesn't much matter. He's shooting the 8 in the side, and he's looking to take a 2-0 lead in this match.
Nothing, Mika.
Now, the last time he broke the balls, the 9 was going toward that lower left-hand corner pocket. That's what Danny mentioned. It was going toward that pocket, but it got kissed. So after the balls are broken, pay close attention to the direction the 9 travels.
Last time Johnny played on this table, if you remember, he was beaten. I mean, Prika was beating him 6-2, and he wound up winning the match. There it was again.
Pocketing the 8 this time, and he hasn't come up with a shot. The first time he broke the balls, he pocketed a ball on a break, but failed to come up with a shot because a ball came in between the cue ball and the 1 ball. As the same thing happened this time, the 7 ball came in between the cue ball and the 1 ball, not allowing Immonen to even see the 1. Now he has to look to push. And he really doesn't have a good place to push, so therefore, maybe in this instance, Danny, he may be better off kicking right now 2 cushions and sending the 1 down table.
I would say that because if he pushes out down there, he's liable to wind up behind the 9. And what Billy's suggesting is this is a better kick right now than he perhaps will get if he pushes.
Well, if he has any skills at all in kicking, he should be able to judge a 2-cushion kick hitting the inside of the 1 ball, and after the balls are depart, the 1 ball will come down this end of the table, the cue ball will then stay at the other end of the table, and at least you're going to have distance as an ally. Now, he pushed for another type of a kick. Johnny's going to probably have to twirl a little bit, getting behind the 1 and trying to kick the 1 toward the side pocket. Yeah. And if you're left this kick, if you feel comfortable in kicking, you should here, because both the cue ball and the 1 ball will be going in different directions, like so.
Yes. He hit it perfect. I mean, you know, the way you said it, it sounded easy. That still required execution, and the speed was almost perfect. And I say almost perfect because he can hit the 1. I don't know what he can do with it.
Okay, now look at the 5 ball position near the corner pocket. It's what we call a big ball position. It's just enough off of that cushion for him to make the 5 in a various amount of ways. So therefore, he can make the 5 in a lot of different ways. And where the 1 ball is positioned, it looks like that it's positioned pretty much ideally for him to play a billiard onto the 5. The 1 ball will then hit the 4 ball and should stay in that area somewhere. I look for him to play the 5 on a billiard here.
Well, that depends on how close is the 1 to the rail. It must be off a little. But that's what he did, and you called it perfectly. Billy, you are playing very well today.
Well, it's early in the day, and I usually play well early. It's only later on in the day when I get tired that my game starts to go down.
Yeah, that was a beautiful shot you made there. Well, he has one thing to do, is get on the 2 so he can get to the 3, and everything else looks like no problem. This might be the only stopping point. He's going to go to the corner, and I think he's got the right angle that he can glance over to the 3.
Now, see, if I were here, I would have played that shot a little differently. He already had position on the 2 in the upper left-hand corner with a natural angle he was going to leave himself. He played position. Now, he could have brushed the 2 and ended up with a problem going up table playing position for the 2 in the lower left-hand corner, but he certainly had the ability to handle the cue ball nicely, and it worked out well for him.
Yeah, he did get perfect. He shot that ball in so clean. Little problem here. Do you draw the ball and go to the 6 in the side?
I think you got to play for the corner there. There's no reason why you should go to the side. It's a lot of traveling, and you have to hit it with good speed.
From here, I didn't know for sure if it went by the 9, so I'm not playing as good as you are.
Well, he's repositioned the cue ball just about perfectly for the 7. This shot should be shot with actually no English at all. It'll pick up a little English after it contacts the 7, and it'll come down table in perfect line for the 9. This is game number 3. Immonen leads 2-0, and it looks like he's looking to make it even a larger lead at 3-0.
And once more, the 9 went in that pocket. Every game, it's gone in that pocket. Three games in a row, and it might happen forever.
Well, he's broken the balls now 3 times, pocketing balls on the break 2 of those times, maybe all 3. I'm not sure. I think he's only pocketed balls on the break twice, but I could be wrong. So therefore, the break so far in this match seems to be a pretty good advantage. Sometimes you'll break on a certain table where you can't pocket balls on the break, and then the break becomes a disadvantage, and that's been proven.
Yeah, I've played on those kind.
And now the 9 once again going toward that corner pocket and almost actually being pocketed in that corner pocket.
Well, he made nothing. He waved the cue stick in disgust. And Archer has to come with a real good shot. And he could possibly get a 2-9 combination. And I don't know what's easier, falling on the 2-9 combination or on the 2.
Well, let's take a look at the layout and the way the angle is and see if he has the ability to do either. I mean, look at the 1. It's to the left of the cue ball. He can go around the table where he's standing in front of the side pocket and end up there with a little high ball, maybe a little bit of inside English. Or he can draw the ball. I don't see much future in drawing the ball, so it looks like he has to go forward. He has to go forward, going, I guess, 2 to 3 cushions, ending up by the side pocket. That'll offer him probably his best chance of winning this game.
Yeah, he's going to go this way where he may have, well, I don't know, maybe he's just going to take the long shot on the 2 and try to maybe pocket the 9 off the 2.
I don't know about drawing the ball. He was able to draw it around the 6, which was really good. Now notice the position of the 3 and the 5. The 3 kind of like tied up.
I think it might go in the far corner where he's walking right now, but that still would be kind of tough to get to. I believe he's playing a billiard. He's sure looking at it.
Yeah, I was going to say, notice the position of the 3 and the 5. If he's really limited on what he can do, he's better off trying to pocket the 9.
And this could be a safe, too. 1 rail to 2, billiard to 9. He didn't even hit the 9, so therefore everything went astray. And now he may be leaving a 3-9 combination, even though it's a thin hit on the 9.
I look for him to actually run out here because the 3 past the 9 is available. The pocket's open. The 4 is on the cushion next to the 3. If he attains the correct angle on the 3, all he'll have to do then is draw the ball a little bit and fall nicely for the 4. The remaining balls on the table are positioned very well. So I look for him to run out here.
You're not just playing well, you're seeing real well, because I wasn't sure the 3 went by the 9, but the other ball you were right on anyway. That's what he looks like he's doing. He might come up a little bit hard, but if he's got a full pocket, I expect him to make this.
I don't think he has a full pocket. I do believe a 9 is blocking a portion of the pocket. Now that he's allowed the cue ball to escape the line that he wanted to end up on, this shot may be a problem. And he may even have a better chance of pocketing the 9 now because he's on that angle.
He's going to shoot the 3, and also he's brushing off the 5 and getting perfect on the 4. See, he had such a big pocket that he even hit the 9, and it went. And now he's got a perfect angle to go 4 to the 5.
No, coming down table would be, I think, in my opinion, wrong. I think if he stayed high on the 5, he would have a better chance of getting out and much less chance of getting hooked.
You mean with the thinner cut?
Right.
Well, he just didn't. He gambled a little bit. I think he's going to escape it, but he did go towards that path dangerously close. He could have taken a little thinner cut on the 5 and not, you know, and not have gambled on going behind the 7. But at any rate, he's got an easy shot and he's got the angle to get position.
And he's got himself a nice angle on the 6. Pocket the 6 and go to the side cushion and come back out to the center of the table or a little beyond there, which will leave him a nice angle on the 7 to drop nicely for the 8. This is game number 4, and he seems to be playing rather well.
Yeah, he is just smooth as can be, and he looks very confident. Do you have any idea how old he is?
He's 28 years old, and he's living in New York. He has a girlfriend up there that he really likes a lot. So his life right now is very, very, very a very good one. He's very happy with his life right now. I was talking with him earlier.
Content is the word. Content.
That too.
Yeah.
After game number 4, Mika Immonen, 4-0 over Johnny Archer.
Does anyone know the score of the Shannon match over there with Pinniger? Can you see it? It's 2-1. It's 2-1 favor of Shannon on the other table.
Shannon's been playing well. He defeated Archer the match that preceded this match 7-0. And anytime you defeat Johnny Archer 7-0, you have to be playing well. Immonen preparing to open up the balls in game number 5. Keep your eye on the 9.
There it goes again towards the pocket. Of course, a lot slower, but it was going in that direction. Anyway, he didn't break the balls and make one, and he left like pretty easy shot and easy position. So if Johnny's going to battle back like the other night, this is a good time to start.
The balls are spread nicely over the table. The 2 to the 3 doesn't look like it's any problem. The 4 position near the lower left-hand corner. From the 3 to the 4 doesn't look like much of a problem. The 5 up table, he just shot over the 5, closely positioned to that corner pocket. Now there's where the problem comes in, the 5 to the 6. That's where all the work is in this rack, getting from the 5 to the 6.
Absolutely. Make a dot and tell me where you'd want to be on the 5 to have the best chance to get to the 6.
Well, if I were trying to play a position on the 5, I would want to end up somewhere right here. So I could draw the cue ball down here for the 6.
Right.
Now, the problem is getting there, you know? But maybe, because the side pocket is too small of a pocket to play position for. And the corner pocket is going to be a tough pocket to play position for because of the position of the 7. He can reposition the cue ball over here, but he goes across table here, he might go into the 7.
Yeah, he has to go the safest way right now.
Now he's trying to attain that angle that I was talking about, and it looks like he may have it. It's going to be very close.
It looks like it's coming right back on the 6. Unless he shoots the 5 a little bit to the right of center of the pocket, that'll change the angle the cue ball comes off.
Yeah, he's close enough to the 5 to be able to cheat the pocket or sacrifice the accuracy of the shot somewhat in order to create another type of an angle. So let's see what he does.
He may be looking at the 6 and the side, Billy. If he gets real close on that, he won't mind. That's just what he did. And now the problem is there's not a great angle, and the pocket doesn't have to hold the ball if you come back for the right angle on the 7. Let's see if he can do it softly. He did it. That's not as easy as it looked.
And they really can't get careless here as well because he's got to go forward with inside English. He has to make sure that he pockets this ball cleanly, which he does.
And he got perfect.
This is game number 5. Archer's looking to get on the board here. He trails in the match 4-0. But if he's able to put down the 8 and the 9, he'll narrow the gap to 4-1. which he does.
Yeah, he looks at the crowd and said, I won one. And they're all applauding.
Now, Danny alluded to the fact that earlier, before the match began, Mika Immonen racked the balls, and either he broke them or Archer broke them, and the 9 shot into the corner pocket. So obviously, he racked them, and he didn't realize that the ball underneath the 9 fell off the 9 slightly. If that happens again to him, I look for the 9 to go toward that corner pocket again.
Yeah, you're right. We did talk about that, and when I asked you about it, you said he racked them bad. And that, you know, even though he's the one who made the 9, unfortunately, when you're racking him for your opponent and he makes the 9, it's a bad rack.
So therefore, if he doesn't understand how to rack the balls, this 4-1 lead he has can disappear quickly. Archer's checking the rack, and there's something about it that he doesn't like.
Well, if he watched Mika rack him earlier, he might not have changed this. He might change this to the worst, because this is not Mika's natural rack. He made him do something differently. And as you said, he made the 9 on the break, his last practice round. Well, let's see what happens. He touched the 1 with his finger. I don't think Johnny's going to go for that.
The break is an advantage playing 9-ball.
He's shaking his head no. Well, you would have to. The guy tried to position the 1 with his finger, and, you know, that never works right.
The break is an advantage playing 9-ball on just about any table you play on. But on certain tables like this one here, when the 9's getting plenty of action, the break now becomes even more of an advantage. So therefore, you know, Johnny breaking the balls right now has to be feeling pretty good about his position, particularly if a 9 starts going toward that pocket and he starts accumulating games.
Well, Mika racked him again, and Johnny shook his head no again. We may have to call Scott in again. Because, I mean, if I did this 3-4 times in a row and I thought I had him racked good, and my opponent said, nope, no good, I'd get frustrated and throw the rack to someone else. I know you feel that way, too.
Mika looked at Johnny with that, well, what do you think now, Johnny, look, you know? Like he was starting to get a little frustrated.
Well, he went one more time than I would have before I got frustrated.
Now let's take a look at the break and keep our eyes on the 9.
Oh, he was right.
Well, he discovered how to rack them.
Sure,
obviously.
Johnny made him rack them right. That's what happened. Like I said, if Johnny would have watched earlier, he would have accepted the rack the way Immonen had him to start with.
Well, this is a pretty difficult situation that he's looking at. He can pocket the 1 in the lower left-hand corner. What's going to happen to the cue ball? But even if he's able to control the cue ball, there's no guarantee he'll pocket the 2. Pretty difficult shot, so therefore he's got a couple problems.
Well, the 2 is a tough shot anyway, and you're not going to get rewarded for sure. So I think you got to look for some kind of safe. Yeah, he did. He got away with it. He got away with it. Now you have to, I believe, you have to try to kick a certain part of the 2. You just don't want to hit it right on the nose. When you kick, you want to kick and aim for this side of the 2 so the cue ball will glance this way. I mean, the cue ball. And the 2 may stay up at least distance.
Well, on this particular kick, I kick with speed here. I think that's about your best chance of winning from here, because if you happen to kick it in somewhere or luck another ball in, the balls are spread nicely over the table. To kick safe from here is pretty difficult. I'd kick this with some speed. Let's see how he.
I agree with you somewhat. You know, I tell people that sometimes you just have to kick to hope to get lucky, but there's other times you can kick on the side of the ball, and that's what I suggested right there. And he at least left distance.
Not only did he leave distance, he repositioned the cue ball very closely to the 9, and it looks like Johnny's going to have to like semi-elevate here, shooting over the 9, and just sighting this ball is a problem because of the position of the 9.
I know my shot had a little merit now, and he proved it, right? Shannon just made the 9 on the break over there, and what is the score now? I can't see from way over here.
Shannon's leading 4-2.
Shannon took the lead 4-2.
Nice shot.
Look at this hit. Well, you know Archer's not going to give up. That's a heck of a shot. Now, does he have he has an angle to force the cue ball, center ball into the side rail, and then one rail to the 4 ball. That's what he did. He went a little bit further than he wanted to. He's okay, but he would have rather been a little straighter on the ball, because now you lose the cue ball a little bit. And the 5 becomes a little tougher shot. He's crawled it in. Nice touch, and he has an angle on the 5 to get to the 7. And that's the pocket you want to play the 7 in, just so the 9 doesn't come into play. But
he didn't necessarily want to end up with a straight-in shot on the 7. He would have liked to have kept an angle to cut the 7 to his left, going 2 cushions or dropping on that bottom cushion where the 8 is positioned.
Well, I think we're going to get a chance to see the Archer stroke unleashed. He's going to try to probably draw the ball 1 rail with a real powerful stroke, and hopefully he'll keep an angle on the 8.
This is a kind of a shot that
there's something on the cue ball, and he's asking his opponent to come over and get it. You just don't want to be the one who says there's something on the cue ball and grab it and pick the thing off. You want your opponent to do it, right?
Well, this is why there's a tournament director. You know, he's
well,
really
I always brag about Scott being a great tournament director, but the best part of his game is not picking spots off the cue ball. So now we're going to see a powerful stroke, and the thing about this is you make sure you have an angle on the 8. You don't want to show a real good stroke and get straight in on the 8 where you can't go anywhere. And he didn't. He got a good angle. If he got straight in on that 8, he would have been really in trouble.
No, he has to be careful with this shot as well. You know, if he tries to go all the way down table, he's going to probably have to elevate. He's going to lose some accuracy. Or should he just play a little longer shot on the 9, repositioning the cue ball somewhere near the side pocket?
He's jacking up. He wants to get center ball and go down perpendicular to the 9, like that. And that was exactly perpendicular. And I'm sure you know what perpendicular means, right,
If I
Billy?
didn't, I do now.
Oh, perpendicular is 90 degrees off the cushion you hit.
That was game number 6. Archer now cuts the lead in half. 4 games for Mika Immonen, 2 games for Archer.
If I didn't like you so much, I'd ask you what 90 degrees represents.
90 degrees, what's it, what it represents?
Yeah.
I guess it's a half, it's a right angle.
Exact words you're supposed to say.
Oh.
Beautiful. I mean, now, if 1,000 people buy this tape and one person didn't know that, we did something good. Billy's speechless about that. I'm just trying to say something while they're feuding over the rack. I don't think they're not feuding, but they're having difficulty getting it straight, and I don't know if the public would rather watch them fool around or hear me say corny things.
Well, we'll find out. We'll get some feedback on this.
Yes, we will.
Watch the cue
One on
ball.
the side, cue ball in the corner. Maybe no two balls near, tied up. I mean, they're all, they're all spread apart, and that's a no-no breaking balls. But it wasn't his fault. He did control the cue ball, and the ball came and hit it and knocked it in the pocket. So that's total chance. That's all.
Yeah. The balls are spread quite nicely over the table. The 3 to the 4 will probably be the key to this particular rack. But the 5 to the 6, if the cue ball is positioned correctly on the 5, the 6 ball is really easily accessible from the 5. But the 3 to the 4, he has to get the right shot on the 4. And he's fallen a little flat on the 3. He can force it across table, but he would probably like a little more of an angle.
Right. But he drew the ball softly and played for this pocket. But this is a problem because if he's going to play for the 5 in that pocket he's standing there, he needs a straight angle. And I don't know if he can.
No, he'll draw it back and then off the side cushion and get a better
he'll
angle.
Be perfect?
Yeah, he'll get a better angle.
Oh, he got close to it, too.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's what you needed to get. Straight in. And it doesn't matter where he goes now. He's going to get to the 7. Even if he got straight in, he would have been okay.
Yeah. So therefore, the 7 to the 8 was the correct angle to drop nicely for the 9. Is the only thing that can probably save Archer now.
Is a straight in. But he got just a little angle, but he might have to shoot the 8 a little bit longer away than he wanted to, unless he draws it one rail.
Now, one rail is a bad way to do this.
He hit it good.
Because you really don't want to get out of line and then try to get back in line.
Right. He had a little more angle than I thought.
Right.
And
right, you're right. If he would have been straight in, maybe that may have been a possible option.
Okay, what's he going to do now? Is he going to try to force, shoot soft and miss the 9, or just try to draw the ball and brush off it?
Well, if he brushes off the 9, he could scratch in the side.
Yeah.
Because that side pocket is there. And if he's not careful on this shot, he could scratch. But whatever he does, he has to make sure he's prepared to do it prior to shooting.
Well, he looked at that angle of scratching off the 9. You see where he's going? Dangerously close to the side, but he controlled it very well. And I expect him to make this. And what will it be, 5-2 in favor of Immonen?
5-2 in favor of Mika Immonen. I think Shannon Dalton is making short work of his job against John Pinniger. I think he's leading 5-2. It's 5-2. Well, it's the same score as this match, 5-2 in favor of Mika.
But over there, John Pinniger was leading 2-1. So Shannon has beat him 4 in a row.
No, Shannon was leading 2-1.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah.
But
so,
still, Shannon's beaten him 3 out of the next 4 games.
Right. Well, where's the 9 going to go now? Towards the pocket. That's where it's going. Look at this. Oh, man, I don't know if he made a ball. I guess he didn't. So what do you do here, Billy, now? I mean, do you play the run out, or you try to fall on the 3 to make the 9? I mean, the run out's pretty easy.
Well, I fall on the 3, to fall on the 4, to fall on the 5 to make the 9.
Okay. That's what I wanted to hear. It's one extra ball, but the layout has no difficulty. You got perfect on the 2. Stop the ball. Shoot the 3 in the side, come back a little, make the 4 in the side, and the 5-9 is easy. He touched the 7, so he said, I moved the 7, Mika. And Mika said, how far did you move it? And he, with his fingers, pointed about 1 inch, so he put it back. The rules state that it's the oncoming player who decides if the ball stays where he hits it or put it back where it was. Did you ever play anybody who moved the ball, Billy, and then wanted to put it back somewhere that was way off, and he argued with you? I think everybody's had that. Haven't you ever had a guy that you say, "Are you kidding? This ball was a foot over here," and the guy insists, and sometimes they unscrew and want a reason to quit anyway.
Well, usually when someone does that, they probably don't like the game.
Right, and maybe the game turned out to. Maybe he liked it worse now that he's playing it than he did before he started. You know, so I've had that happen. You know, a guy will look for any reason to start an argument so he can quit. And that is one of the argumentative spots in pool, when a guy moves an object ball and he doesn't place it where you know it was. Of course, he knew it was in the other place.
But if you have a real good game, you just let him put it where he wants it.
That's right. When you're playing someone that we use the terminology stealing from, you let him win all arguments. That's really true. You're a jerk if you don't.
Well, you're foolish if you don't too.
I see that there's a lot of people in the audience with headsets, and they're all looking up here, grinning and nodding yes. You let suckers win all arguments. The only one who doesn't is the sucker himself, right? Well, he moved the ball to this side now. He's been breaking from the other side of the table. And it didn't seem to matter which side you break on. The 9 still was going towards that right-hand pocket. So let's see if that holds true. Nope, it went the other way, and he lost the cue ball.
And he got kissed in again.
And he made 2 balls. So
2 balls. He made 3 balls.
So that means Mika.
The table's wide open.
Right.
Here.
The table was leaking that time, and Mika Immonen is playing 6 ball. And they're all out in the open. I don't give Johnny much chance to get back to the table this game. And he really was in the game had he not made the cue ball on the break, because it's 5-3. I mean, he figured to run out and become 5-4. Now instead it looks like he's facing 6-3. Well, I'm going to tell you something here. Well, I thought he was going to shoot the 2 in that far corner. I said I wouldn't shoot the 2 in it. At first he was placing it to shoot it in the far corner. He's still looking to do it. I wouldn't shoot it in that far corner with a gun on my head. Right? That would be probably the last pocket I shoot. No, the second last, because you can't make it in the other side. He's electing to shoot the 2 and draw the ball, and he did it perfectly. He wanted to leave a 2-rail angle now to go to the 5. And the good thing about a 2-rail angle is after you hit the second rail, you're in line all the time after you hit that rail. You see it? He's in line, he's in line. In other words, he had a big position target there. And whenever you got a choice for you people out there, pick the angle that the cue ball is in line the most distance. Nice little stroke. Two rails to the 8 on the side. He got a little bit the wrong angle, but I don't think he's going to have a problem. He's going to go forward 1 rail with a little left-hand English.
And with the stroke of the stick, he'll then have a 6-3 lead, racing to 7.
It's bad enough to lose the cue ball on the break with 9 balls on the table with this caliber. I mean, let alone 6 balls. I mean, there's like no chance of getting back to the table. A guy would have to miss cue or something. And you know what I found on the road at least 30 years ago? You never play a billiard on the 9 ball if the ball is close to the 9 because they're always going to call bad hit. And we didn't have Pat Fleming's ACCUSTATS to say, let's play it again. Yeah, they're just waiting for you to, like, you know, it's like a shot where you hit the object ball and like 2 inches later or under, you're hitting the 9, they call bad hit. So you avoid that. He switched to the other side now. And the 9 flew out of there and went towards that pocket. But
6 ball.
6 ball went, and the 2 ball got in the path of the 1. He can hit the 1. I don't know if it might go in this pocket past the 5. He's looking at it, but that is like a super shot. You got to jack up, shoot the 1 in that corner, and go 1 rail to the 2.
Yeah, I kind of like him shooting it past the 5 for a couple different reasons. And that is that if he shoots it down this way here, and it happens to, not go, he's got the 7 and the 5 as potential blocking balls. And also another advantage he may have on this shot, if he has the ability to do this, to draw the cue ball back toward this way. I don't know if he can get it back. And then he has the advantage of the 3 ball as a possible blocking ball
I think
as well.
he can get it back, Billy, but I think he has to go on this side of the 7, which makes it dangerous.
But I would shoot this shot because a lot of good things can happen to him so he could have got it
he
back.
went on the inside.
Yeah.
You couldn't have placed it better with your fingers once again. Now he's got the angle on the 2 to get to the 3. He'll have the angle on the 3 to get to the 4. The 5 stops. 7 in the side, and you're right on the 8. This is what we call a Cosmo.
Well, the Cosmo became very quickly almost Cosmo with the position of the 3.
You're right.
It's a little off angle here.
But that's the angle he wanted, but it's still not a Cosmo because a Cosmo is all stopping where you hit the ball.
And now I don't know if he's just going to pinch draw this and come back about a foot, or if he's going to go maybe a rail or 2 rails for position.
I think he's going to draw 1 rail to the side. He has to hit it with a little. No, he killed it, which is good.
The reason he probably did that, he was willing to accept a little longer shot to get perfect for the 5. And what I mean by perfect is all he needs to do now is stop the ball or draw it back a couple inches, and he's perfect for the 7.
He got good because he got the angle on the 7 that you can get an angle on the 8 with automatically, and it's an easy shot also. Angles are fine, but they also have to be easy shots.
And it looks like Immonen's going to advance in the tournament, which he does.
He played a solid match.
Well, no question about it. I really liked Immonen when we did a match on him earlier in the tournament, and he played extremely well. And I thought that he had an excellent chance of doing well in this tournament. And he's continued, obviously, his fine play. And now there are only, after this round that is, now there will only be 3 players left in the tournament, and he's guaranteed 3rd place for sure.
And another reason to make him a plus there is, Archer really hasn't been playing up to his game. And I interviewed him after his last match, and he admitted that his game has fell down, and he's trying hard to get it back. So mentally he is struggling a little bit, and so Mika figured to be the favorite in the match. Maybe not to a lot of the locals, because Johnny Archer is popular around here, even though he's from North Carolina.
Well, in just a moment, we're going to have Mika join us. I believe it's going to be off camera or on camera. I mean, on camera in the booth, or it's going to be an on-camera interview out of the booth. Right, okay. And as soon as he comes up here, we're going to take a little short break, and we'll be back with Mika Immonen. We're here with Mika Immonen, and Mika, congratulations in another well-played match tonight, this time against Johnny Archer. The first time you played on the featured table, you played against Buddy Hall. You defeated him quite handily, and once again, playing brilliantly, defeating three-time world champion Johnny Archer.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I was playing this match even better than against Buddy Hall because I didn't really make unforced errors. Against Buddy, I made one bad shot after the push out, but got lucky because he missed. But here I just took advantage of Johnny's. He had a little bad luck on the break, like twice he scratched, and I was playing real good. I was seeing the patterns real good and making a couple of tricky shots, and I'm really glad to be able to perform like that.
Well, I tell you, in the last game when you had the shot on the 1 ball past the 5, drawing the cue ball back for the 2 at the other end of the table, I thought was an outstanding shot. You hit it perfectly. You didn't hit a rail, hit the center of the pocket. You drew the cue ball back very nicely, and you ran out to close them out of the match, which was, I thought, a good way of closing out the match.
Yeah, that was a nice closing for it, and I felt like I had to really stroke it good because I had to get the cue ball down for the 2 ball and still. And in case I miss the 1 ball, the cue ball is down there. So it's a 2-way shot kind of, but I hit it perfect, so I was able to run out.
Yeah, that's exactly the way I saw it as well. There are only, after this round, in a match between Shannon Dalton and John Pinniger, there are only going to be 3 players left in the tournament.
That's
and
right.
One of those 3 players will draw a bye. Now, Troy Frank just drew a bye the last round. Now, the first year we had this tournament, Troy Frank drew 2 or 3 byes, which enabled him to go on and advance in the tournament. Now he has another opportunity to do that again.
Well, I got 1 bye earlier, and he's got 2, so I don't really care. Maybe I'll play that semi-final, but it never hurts to rest that game anyway, so maybe I'll get a bye, but I don't really care.
Okay, now Shannon Dalton just defeated John Pinniger. At least that's Scott Smith said that on the loudspeaker. So it's going to be Shannon Dalton, Troy Frank, and yourself. Someone will draw a bye. The other 2 must play to see who plays the player that draws the bye.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed 3rd place. You're playing as well, in my opinion, as anyone in the tournament. And I look for you to do well in this tournament.
I'm looking forward to play either the final or the semi-final and the final.
And maybe we'll meet again in the near future.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations once again, and good luck.
Thank you. And I want to just one more thing.
Go right ahead.
Is the camera on? I just wanted to thank Vitali Manufacturing and Dan James from Joscus for helping me out and believing in my chances here, and look forward to cooperation.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're not dumb picking you to sponsor you. I mean, they certainly made a wise choice in that. So,
Thanks.
I would like to sponsor him myself. I'll talk to Danny and whatever, and I'll see if I can get in there in some way. Okay. Anyways, we're going to be back with Barry Berman, who has the U.S. Open every year. There's another tournament he's going to be promoting, sponsoring. It's going to be the Masters. So therefore, we'll be back with Barry Berman in just a few minutes, and we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming Masters tournament. So we're going to phase out now, but we'll be right back with Barry.